Welcome to AmityCast. My name is Ellis.
My name is Matthew.
Welcome to iCarly.
Welcome to iCarly. Everyone about iCarly, the hit show iCarly.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about my favorite show ever.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Not Fuller House? What about Fullest House? What about Full House?
Anyway, we're going to talk about my favorite show. It's exclusively on Netflix. I guess you can also get...
No, the Netflix logo on this means it'll land Netflix. I'm kidding. I believe it was on Comedy Central for a little bit, but...
Was it?
At one point.
Well, anyways, it was a Netflix based
Netflix
property.
original series.
Yes.
Starring BoJack.
Anyway, BoJack Horseman. Yeah. Should we do a spoiler warning, or are we not going to do spoilers?
Okay, so spoilers. He does have a long face.
I'm asking an actual question right now. Okay, so a spoiler warning for BoJack Horseman. It's an incredible show. I highly recommend it. So.
Spoilers.
Sarah
Lynn does die. You know, BoJack does die, and then.
Okay, what? Who's Sarah Lynn? All right. Anyway, if you enjoyed the discussion, please be sure to subscribe. You can hit the bell to get notified when we upload.
We're gonna start a spin-off channel soon. It's called Tommy,
No, we're
Tommy
not.
Tunes.
Be sure to like the video as well.
Tommy Tunes.
But yeah, BoJack Horseman. How do you feel about it?
Kind of solid. It's pretty solid. It's actually very solid. It's actually amazing.
I mean, he's a horse.
My character's a horse, and like I meet some people in life that watch the show and they're just really weirded out that half of them are animals and half of them are humans. In fact, they have like romantic relationships.
I made one joke about it.
But like, you always have to accept that it's okay to do stuff with animals, and then
Well, I mean, that's kind of a big part of like the aesthetic of the concepts, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's an adjustment.
It's odd. I can see how it's off-putting, but like once you actually like get through in the show and you feel them all as just characters, it flows a lot better.
By the way, I watched the podcast and you can barely hear me.
I barely asked.
Very prominent.
You watched the whole thing?
Other ones, I bet. You could barely-
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah.
Does anybody actually watch our podcast? Like, please let me know.
Leave it in the comments down below.
If you leave a comment, we'll put you on our free giveaway for a $5 Fortnite card.
Or those
That's not a real thing.
Or those challenges where like subscribe or die.
That's what we do if we have 5-year-olds listening.
Oh, you know, like if you turn the phone upside down, it turns out you actually can hit the subscribe button. Guys, try it out.
I hate those, bro. Subscribe or die.
All right.
It's like,
So, what are your thoughts? So, what did you know about the show originally before you watched? Did you know anything? Like, what got you to watch it?
Actually, what got me to watch it? Fun fact. So, you know, Channel Frederator.
Yeah.
So they do those
video.
107 facts about like different shit. I saw they did a BoJack Horseman one, and I didn't actually know about it at the time. So I was like, oh, I wonder if that's actually a good show. So I looked into it, found out it was on Netflix, and I watched the first season, and I loved it. And then seasons 2 through 6 are so much better than season 1. But I loved even season 1. So
Season 1 has pretty solid bangers. The first like 4 though.
the first 4, yeah. The Telescope, great episode. Say Anything, fantastic. Downer Ending, the best episode of season 1. All great episodes.
I don't even remember why I started watching it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about you?
I don't remember for sure. I think I saw like some YouTube videos about like some moments in it and a lot of like the relatability of it, and it just kind of interested me, and I watched it. And also the reviews helped because like literally like every season's like 100%. So that's the first one.
Yeah.
When I started watching it, the first part of season 6 was already done, so I only really got hyped for the last half of season 6.
Oh, really?
And I watched it all in one night.
I believe I started watching it. It was like I think at the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to go back to it until around the time that like the first half of season 6 was done, and I watched all the way through.
Yeah, it's very, very good. It's not like a lot of animated, like adult cartoons that really have no continuity.
Right.
It's very short compared to like like a lot of like stories.
That's true, yeah. And it is very serialized. Like it's very like pretty much every episode is pretty important to the overall story.
Yeah, even one episode will just reference something that happened in the previous one. That's pretty, whatever.
Right.
Like even in season 1, like they mentioned constantly about Todd's rock opera, and it's like it's really not that important in the grand scheme.
No, but
And it never came back later either, which is one of the things that kind of sucks. But,
well, technically it comes back in season 6.
but like it doesn't like actually get that chance again,
Right.
which would have been cool. But it's also I guess fairly realistic.
Yeah. But the overall continuity is amazing. It's one of the best shows that I've seen. I've seen like a lot of I don't know what website it was, but like they made like a list ranking like the greatest cartoons ever, and they put BoJack at number 1. And a lot of people were like, "That this is ridiculous." Which like I guess when you compare it, like a show like The Simpsons has been going for 30 years and is extremely iconic and everybody knows about it.
But it's got like very old and very.
But it's just like I get it because it's so
stale.
It's very iconic, and that's like what makes it so well known. And like with BoJack, it's just it's an incredible story. It's so well written. I do really like the art style, and I really enjoy just everything about the entire narrative from beginning to end. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and the humor in the beginning was very iffy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very Family Guy-ish. A lot of cutaways, a lot of dumb gags, but like there were some really good ones. Like the one where it's like, I don't put this lightly, but that's worse than 100 September 11th. And Smoothies. Oh my God, Smoothies.
Oh, the Smoothies joke is amazing. Just go.
A lot of really good, dry, sarcastic humor.
Go onto YouTube and look up Smoothies BoJack Horseman. That clip is so funny.
There was a whole light bulb scene in season 5, which was really funny too. But then there's also really depressing episodes, like a downer ending. Basically, every second to last episode in every season is super dark.
Yeah, all the penultimate episodes are really dark.
Season 4 is like probably the least dark, but that one's still incredibly dark when it comes to the subject matter.
And they're all extremely well written, and they're like regarded as like the best episodes of each season. Which I don't know like why that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know why that started.
No, like I mean, yeah, downer ending was like the first. I think I mean, there's some pretty good episodes in season 1, but then once the 11th episode, it's the penultimate episode, downer ending. That's really? The episode that really. That's like
they kind of changed up.
Yeah.
They changed up a lot of the animation styles, a lot of the storytelling.
Right.
All of it was like mostly in his head. Yeah.
But yeah, downer ending. It's like that first episode that you watch it, and at the end, it's like you can tell that it's a lot more special. It's a lot more special than just a regular animated show.
Is it TV time?
Sure.
TV time!
So we've got Tommy here. He's really only seen the first season. He's seen a little bit of the second season. But how do you like it so far?
I like where the bestiality.
All right, so we're done with him. We're done with him.
No, actually, it's actually pretty funny at times and like pretty depressing at times at the same time, and it has a good contrast between the both. Which is I like because it's not like heavy on either or until like later.
I mean, the relatability is what I like the most.
Oh yeah,
I think it's fantastic.
Really relatable.
Yeah, because like a whole point of the show, there's got these characters that like they're like you believe them to be genuinely good, but they do things that like specifically BoJack, they do terrible things, and like the relatability of that is like no one's perfect. Everybody knows that no one's perfect. That's just like a thing. You know what I mean? Like how relatable the characters are.
Yeah, I think Mr. Peanut Butter is so relatable. I really like agree with like everything that happens in his life.
Well, I mean, Mr. Peanut Butter, his arc later on, it's like because he's also like they're like, oh, he's depressed, but like he seems happy. That's like the whole thing.
There's a whole line where he's like, "Listen, there's no meaning in life. Just keep doing shit until you die. Then you don't have to worry about anything."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm depressed, so I relate to BoJack Horseman.
Every character in the show is depressed.
The show.
There you go. I mean, maybe not Todd. Is Todd depressed?
Dude, I love Todd.
Fairly.
Todd's great.
Todd's great.
Outside of BoJack's definitely my favorite.
BoJack's addicted to Todd.
That's true. I mean,
It improves.
the BoJack and Todd dynamic is my favorite of the show, probably.
And then like
The way it evolves.
like the last 3 seasons,
Yeah,
they
when he had
barely have
sex
anything.
with his TV show daughter, and then Todd got like just wanted his blanket back.
And then he got involved in it.
Then they had a threesome.
Oh yeah, and then they're like having sex, and Todd's like, "All right, guys, gotta stop. I'm part of it."
It's like Justin.
Sarah Lynn's arc. There's so many amazing arcs we could talk about. I could talk about the show forever.
Overdose.
She does overdose.
There's so much in this show it's so much. But just talking about how it is like as a narrative, it's extremely well written. There's a lot of great attention to detail. They do a great job making the whole thing cohesive all the way through. I'm intrigued and I'm excited to see what comes next. And then it has a satisfying ending that I think like does justice to all the characters and everything that they set up. I really think it's a masterpiece. It's incredible.
You know, it's also a masterpiece.
My mom.
Why'd you take my line?
The whole AmityCast channel.
Dude, actually, we have a co-host today. It's actually his own YouTube channel.
That's cool. I was like, you're like halfway into it.
Justin Gaines. Fantastic.
Actually, Life Adjust. I was here since Life Adjustment. I was here since Mr. Harmon.
Throwback.
That was his favorite class.
What's your favorite season, though?
My favorite season is probably season 4.
I'm for the Christmas episode. Ow.
Season 4 and season 6 are the best ones, in my opinion.
I think season 6 since has the most.
Season 6, yeah, that's nice.
But like I really like season 3 and 4.
Season 3 is great. Wait, no. Is it 3 or 4? One of
5 and 1 are like bottom for me. Like 5 then 1.
I enjoy 5. I think it's definitely a step ahead of 1, but they're definitely the bottom 2 seasons.
Yeah.
3 and 4 are incredible. Season 2 is also pretty good. I think season 2 is when it's really starting to get its groove. But I think season 3 is my favorite because that's when it's like this is like full on BoJack Horseman, and you're in for an incredible ride.
And like the penultimate and the finale that season were amazing.
Oh, incredibly amazing. So somber, so well done.
Yeah.
Extremely emotional. The show provokes so many emotions. It is truly a comedy, but it's also a drama, and like it balances that throughout. What I think is best about the comedy is that the show lays a dramatic foundation very well. It's kind of like a kite, you know, like how a kite, like it'll just fly away if it has nothing to like stick to.
Yeah.
It builds up the drama very well, and then that kite is like the comedy that can stick to that. So the show can just have fun being what it wants to be, but it still has that like foundation that it is, and it can stay true to that, and like can just be whatever it wants, and it does an incredible job.
From a business perspective, this seems like good business.
There's like almost all the jokes land for me. I know like it's kind of iffy like early on, but like it's extremely funny, and the drama is so emotional, and it does a great job balancing a lot of emotions, and it's incredible in my opinion.
Are you staying the night?
Probably.
Okay. We're gonna play Mario Party probably. So
Okay.
it's gonna get 14 more star points. But she's gone. Let's break into the BoJack character.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about him?
BoJack?
Yeah.
Well, he's an extremely flawed individual, for sure.
He's not that flawed. He just like did a lot of bad things.
Look, it's not all the terrible things that happened to you when you were a kid or in your career. It's not the drinking or the drugs. It's you.
It's you. Amazing dialogue. His
Yes.
relationship with Herb was very well done. I love that. And then I know I've watched it with like people, and like they don't really like that, like the Herb
Dude, you watched
like
it with
storyline.
people? Dude,
Yeah.
I watched it with animals.
Keep going.
No, I lost my group. And then
Dude, I got him.
and like the whole relationship with how Herb and them end was very like, you know, wasn't really like happy or fulfilling. It was very real.
Yeah.
Very like you screw people over, they're not just gonna forgive you,
Right.
and you don't really get
the way
closure.
you said you have to live with the shitty thing that you did for the rest of
Yeah.
your life. You're not going to get any closure for it.
Yeah. And there was pretty good, even though there was never like actual legit closure, there was at least like a little bit of closure in the end of season 6, the second last episode,
Yeah.
with some more interactions with Herb. And even the last line that he had in the whole show was very, very chilling about there being nothing after life,
Right. It's like,
and that this is it.
it's like there is no other side. This is it.
Yeah, that actually like
I mean,
freaked me out.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could probably do an entire one talking about just
That one's
Just the
amazing.
view from after.
There's so much amazing stuff in that.
That's a flawless episode.
Yeah.
It's actually.
I don't. That was flawless. Big
But,
country.
what's great about the BoJack character, and I think what's like one of the biggest praises I can give to the entire show, is that every relationship that he has, you can definitely feel it, whether it's positive or negative. You can feel why it's there, why it's in place the way that it is. You see how horribly he was treated, but you can also see like the generational trauma and how that can trigger.
That was an amazing episode too, season 4.
Yeah,
he was in that sailor
shut
outfit.
up. With his mom and like how
Your mom.
The mom and dad relationship was very well done. A really good example of family abuse.
Because early on in the show, you just see how BoJack is horribly treated by his mother, and it starts to show why he does some of the horrible things that he does to the people in his life. But then you see, like, episodes like The Old Sugarman Place and Time's Arrow, you look even farther back.
They give her explanation and reasoning.
His mother, Beatrice.
Doesn't, like, justify anything.
Right, it doesn't justify the horrible things that she did. Same thing how her causing that through BoJack doesn't justify what he did. But it, like, shows that it, like, it's an actual explanation for that, and it actually gives us insight into, like, why it is what it is.
Makes it a tragedy.
Right.
Yeah. Like your mom. I'm just kidding. And then the fifth season, the whole how they handled like pill popping and addiction was incredibly well done. Especially that penultimate episode.
Oh yeah.
Was amazing, and how much it can just cause your life to fall apart.
Right, and how like it can just make everything seem like an illusion, and how like it can blur like a lot of parts.
Like
of
the
your
literally
life.
season finale, like that episode or whatever, is just him like just creating these fake scenarios.
Right.
And yeah.
Which is just super cool.
They even added layers to like Todd or Mr. Peanut Butter, who have a great dynamic. I love their dynamic throughout the show.
Right.
Was it PP Livin'?
Yeah,
Their whole company
PP
was so stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so dumb.
They gave like a whole thing with Todd about asexuality, which was very like interesting.
They did a great job with that because they really elevated his character with that, and like they actually like it was like another platform to bring in another thing that they could like have commentary on, kind of.
And they didn't really
actually show it.
It's pretty flawless.
Yeah.
And then with Mr. Peanut Butter, they love to explore about like Hollywood, like elitism and
right. I mean the overarching like narrative is all about like how like the toxicity of Hollywood and being famous and a lot of that, and also like generational issues. But there's so many smaller underlying things that they discuss, like addiction, abuse.
Your mom. They also discuss Hollywood. They even discuss like cancel culture and like the Me Too movement.
Right.
Literally, the last half of season 6 is about him being canceled.
Right.
And it's done really well.
And like it's a really fitting into the characters. Everything that we've seen of BoJack so far, like he's been through all this stuff, but like he did things that were.
There's also it was really
that were
interesting because the
incredible.
first half of season 6 literally has like the perfect happy ending.
Right.
But then it has the day after.
Yeah.
Which was even a line in the show.
Which was a big part of the show. It's like every happy ending just has the morning after. It's like okay, things are great, but then what about after that?
Yeah.
And that's just with BoJack because like he finally seemed like he was really fixing everything up toward the end of the first part of season 6, and then it all just comes crashing down in the second half.
Shows that
of
like
season
you
6.
have to pay.
Right.
Yeah. Especially for the whole Sarah Lynn thing, which happens in season 3, but like it's important throughout the whole show.
Right, and like you don't realize exactly how important until like it's really brought back at the end of season 6, which is just
Actually,
it makes a lot of
sense. While we're talking
sense.
about this, it is at 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
Yeah.
If you've seen the show, 17 minutes is like a very important amount of time.
Yeah, mom. Where's Joey?
Why would Joey be here?
Because he loves Tommy.
But BoJack is an extremely well-written character, very flawed, and we
both wear glasses.
understand the flaws and why they're there, but we still get to view them. And Will Arnett did a great job voicing the character for.
There's just so many good lines. Remember BoJack and Wanda, where it's like when you look at people through rose-colored glasses, red flags just come up as flags.
Yeah, all the red flags just look like flags, which is like.
That's a brilliant
Which is an incredible
line.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Yeah.
such a good
If I
show.
pick my women, I find the most red flags and I go for them.
OnlyFans.
Why are we getting personal right now? We're trying to talk about BoJack.
You can take it personal. BoJack is personal.
Actually,
horse.
that was a good point. That was a good point.
Are you the horsing around guy?
This is also just a podcast that we put on
What do
YouTube
you
for
guys think
12
about
for
Mr.
10
Peanut
people to
Butter?
view.
Mr. Peanut Butter is a very flawed character, but he's really fun.
What's great about Mr.
Dude,
Peanut
BoJack
Butter?
and Mr. Peanut Butter make out.
What's great about Mr. Peanut Butter is that he's the perfect representation of like the someone who seems happy,
But
you
isn't.
actually find out that he's never satisfied, like actually. And because of like that happiness and that constant joy that
What?
he tries to
Did you guys
exude.
give a spoiler alert?
Yeah, we did. Oh, but also like
Why are you always talking in the middle of a point? Always talking to you.
But-
My points.
they also.
I think your points are very
Oh my god. They really have a great comment about him in relationships, and like they really kind of show him off in the beginning. He's very like he's like the antithesis of BoJack, very much not flawed and really happy with himself. But then you realize he can't even keep a marriage. Like he literally gets married 4 times in the show.
Right, and like it seems like everything around him always just like never actually goes through the way that like someone would actually want it to.
It shows perfectly that nobody really is like happy. They might seem happy, but everybody has some problems.
Right. And he's another example of like what it's like to like go through fame and like.
And
that
I really love how
affects you
BoJack
after
and Mr. Peanut Butter's relationship progresses. Like even at the end of season 6, it's not like they're like best friends or anything. But in the end, that's the one character that will still be with BoJack.
Right.
And we're not even talking about Diane yet, which is one of the most
Diane is
important characters
Yes.
besides BoJack.
Diane is a very important, well-written character. Princess Carolyn is one of one of the best written characters
Does Diane get
as
fat?
well.
Yes, the last season. She was a
I mean,
feminist.
Todd, every character's just incredibly
Hey.
well done. They were very careful about everything that they did, and they did a
Hollyhock?
good job with it. The Hollyhock era was also insane.
And it ended very sadly, but it was very real. So
Yeah.
very sad.
And like it was like a perfect like symbolic way to put that, just like how she's just gone.
The whole plot line that in season 4 was like really good.
Yes.
Because after season 3, I didn't really know what the plot line would be next. Because at that point, it seemed very linear.
Right.
You know, like he gets his career back, he gets a big movie, he gets the Oscar, like campaign. Like, what do you do after that? And then they did something really good with that. They led into the next few seasons. Kind of feel like 2 different eras. So.
Yeah. They definitely feel very different to me because I remember like in the first season it's all about like, you know, like BoJack and Todd are together and it's all about a lot about their friendship. And then going forward they grow further apart through like certain things. And then like it definitely feels like very different from the first 3 seasons to the
yeah, and like the very last like
but still connected.
The nail in the coffin between Todd and BoJack was when BoJack basically had sex with Todd's like significant other.
Basically.
And
yeah.
Todd just couldn't really forgive him for that.
Right.
Even when he admitted it.
Even all the way from later on when when Todd's got his own place and then he doesn't invite BoJack to like his homecoming party or housewarming party. Sorry.
Yeah. Homecoming.
And then
Spider-Man
BoJack goes there and then Todd is like, I'm sorry, but like you have to leave. I can't have you in my life, basically. But one cool thing about BoJack's character, and it's probably one of the most selfless acts we've seen from him in the entire show, after he learns about the All About That Ace asexual dating app, and then he meets that Maud
Todd
character.
basically a relationship.
Yeah, he basically sets up
pays for
Todd with
himself.
Maud. By the way, Todd and Maud. Yeah.
Todd gets over a rabbit.
True.
Again, the show Todd dates a rabbit.
I mean, who wouldn't date a rabbit? Come on.
Trinity?
Was the rabbit hot?
Why do we bring up people? We're
I don't
supposed to be
know.
on a show.
Yeah, we are.
Was the rabbit hot?
Oh my god.
She's asexual, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like, it was probably a human
You're a
rabbit.
human rabbit.
Yes.
Crossover episode.
What is this? A crossover episode? Erica!
What are you doing with Chuck?
Erica!
Unless I see Erica or something. But what's all that happening?
It's great in like that last episode when he's like,
They also have like
unless I get distracted by my friend Erica and I want to go over on a tangent and talk to her and then I leave you abandoned for the rest of that party. But what are the odds of that?
They also have a lot of good running jokes about like season to season, like the whole Holly Woo, and then like they finally like change it, and they still mess it up. And he's like, "Oh, I meant it was birthday dad. No, the D in birthday."
As in birthday dad, yeah. The things that Mr. Peanut Butter does just so stupid. Not to mention a character like also
Pokemon?
Todd, everything that he's done, ever since meeting BoJack, all the things he's been through. Like he was even the governor of California for like 2 minutes.
Todd.
Yeah.
And he's like, I relinquish. There's so many Todd shenanigans.
So many. Henry Fonda's
The first episode, he's like involved with a cartel. It's just like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one time, he swapped with the Prince of Cordovia.
Yeah, that was like for a whole episode. It was really. I didn't love everything. It was kind of weird though.
And then he came back and he was like, I ruined the whole country.
There's also that whole episode where like it's a therapist talking and they just change all the characters out.
Yeah.
Even the intro.
Bobo the Angsty Zebra.
Yeah. Which was just weird. Probably one of my least favorite episodes.
All the way through, it's a phenomenal show.
It's the only episode I really hate. So
Really?
I don't really hate any of the episodes. I can watch all of them.
I could easily watch all of them.
Yeah.
Bobo the Angsty Zebra was like, whatever. It's just like, I don't know, what's the actual name of the episode? I don't know.
I think it's the submarine or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the submarine.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because it was like, no, it was like interior submarine something.
Justin, you should really watch BoJack. It's incredible.
Now he has to work, do his laundry, work. What?
Used Aquajet on Blaziken did nothing.
Isn't that like the opposite of what's supposed to happen?
Yeah.
Also, Secretariat, what a great character, especially how they incorporated at the end of the series.
Yeah, that was really good.
With like him being his dad, but like it's also like his real dad because like it's a mix-up because he never really had a father figure, but Secretary kind of was.
Yeah.
Which is a really good like personification of that idea.
Kind of on a different point. Have you ever heard of the thing in literature called Chekhov's gun?
I think so.
Where it's like Chekhov was a writer and he brought up a point that like it's called the gun. So like if you set up that a character has a gun in a certain act, in the next act the character should use that gun.
Yeah.
And basically it's a thing in literature where if something is set up at some point in a narrative that there should be a payoff for it, or then there was no point. It's just filler.
Yeah.
And one of the best things about BoJack is that almost every plot line that they bring up, almost every little detail, it seems to have a very satisfying payoff in the end. they go back to it and they do a great job of bringing the whole thing together, tying it up in a nice little bow. I think they do a fantastic job of that through all 6 seasons.
Yeah, there was definitely a few plot lines that even in like season 1 they brought back up.
Right.
In season 6,
which is really cool.
Because I remember like, what was that? Diane's family was like brought back up in season 6 for that one episode. Was like all in her head. Yeah. Which was very unique.
Good Damage was a great episode.
Also, that last conversation that we saw of like Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter was a very great. From even back to season 1, it was amazing to see. There's even that great line where it's like, you know, like how much better it would be if they met at the places they were now, and it's like, well, if that happened, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I have like that for a reason.
Which was actually like rare, like actual, just straight up wisdom from Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yeah.
Which like normally Mr. Peanut Butter is like he can't have like pieces of
Hollywood stars and
Hollywood stars and celebrities. What do they know? Do they know things? Let's find out. But there's so much hilarity to be found, so many great laughs, and just so many great storylines that are just incredible all the way throughout. It's so enjoyable. I would recommend it to anyone over the age of, like, I don't know, 16. I don't know.
I say 9-year-olds should watch it in school.
No, but for real, like, it's definitely an adult show, a lot of adult themes, that's kind of the whole point. But it is incredible. It's a great example of how to do a show right, how to do a cartoon right. Incredible style, incredible narrative, incredible everything.
It's like it's very interesting. Like they'll have jokes about like drugs and alcohol, but then that whole episode about the ramifications of that,
right? And
whole storylines and even characters that really show that.
Yeah,
and it's extremely well done, while also being entertaining and funny and well animated. They do a lot of different techniques sometimes that are very cool.
Yeah, they definitely like to experiment with it, and I think it pretty much worked out all the time. And if it didn't, it was always entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
It's just, I just think it succeeds on every level. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and then like in season 6, when you actually see like significant character changes, like they change outfits or in some ways like little physical changes, it feels very well earned.
Yeah.
And very significant. And like a lot of like the plot line, like the first few seasons, is seeing like his show from the 90s. And essentially showing that this is like not like a regular sitcom. I'm also kind of showing that sitcom, which was kind of cool and unique. Kind of show like, oh, this is what it would be like in a show, but this is what it's actually going to be like in the show.
Exactly.
Which is very like meta on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was the Angela Diaz character that was in season 1, came back in season 6. I like completely forgot about her.
Right, yeah.
But it's amazing to rewatch season 1 and see her in it.
Right,
knowing what happens later.
Like on a rewatch, it's just like, whoa, like even this.
I don't even think a lot of people thought that was gonna happen.
Right.
I'm so glad that.
Yeah, that was really amazing. Like
that episode, I love that episode.
It's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, just seeing the development of all the characters, like especially with BoJack, but like I mean everyone, Diane, Princess Carolyn.
There was that other great line where like he gets mad at Angela and is like saying like, you're the reason that my life's ruined, and it's like, well, you still did everything you did, so it's always gonna be your fault.
Right, which is another great example. Like I mean, looking at a big part of the show is like going through trauma due to other people. And maybe it's because of the trauma that they've been through, but either way, they affected you negatively, horribly negatively. But like, you are still responsible for what you end up doing in the long run. And there's so many great examples of how they exude that throughout the show. They really accentuate it, like with the continuous points. I think it's just it ends up being really relevant to just not only like just like the time period, but just like to every person out there it could apply to. And it's even brought more to light just through incredible voice acting, incredible animation, incredible story, being entertaining all the way through. It's fantastic.
Amazing creator. That's really helped the show go along. There wasn't really any like dull points or you felt like it was going on for too long.
Right. No.
It felt really straight to the point and really told its story well. I know they wanted to do like up to 7 seasons.
Yeah.
But I feel like season 6 got everything pretty well.
I think they got extended. They did a good job with it. Yeah.
It was 12 episodes now, but they got extra ones. So.
I mean, it feels like
even like the episodes about BoJack.
Right. Yeah.
So. It's
like linear in a good way. And it all feels necessary. Every episode, pretty much every moment feels necessary once you see all of it, which is just fantastic, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments that we could bring up, a lot of very good quotes and, storylines.
There's endless amounts of incredible quotes.
Even in just like the second last episode, there's so many little hidden Easter eggs, and not even to mention that every single character besides BoJack is characters that have like died in his past.
Right.
And like their meals all like the last meals they had if you think about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's very...
And there's so many more little details. It's so superb in every way. Everything is done really flawlessly. It's one of the best beginning to end shows I've seen. Maybe the best. Like World of
6 out of 10.
Cartoons.
I'm kidding.
It is definitely the closest thing that you can find to a flawless cartoon beginning to end, in my personal opinion.
But Rick and Morty season 5.
I have a lot to say about Rick and Morty season 5. We'll get to that eventually.
So, do you recommend the show?
Yes, I already said that.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it to anyone who's of age because it's fantastic. There's a lot of incredible themes, incredible storylines. Like I've said, I'm beating a dead horse hot at this point.
They even have episodes like completely silent. And it's amazing.
Yes, they actually, it was crazy. They have an episode called Fish Out of Water. That's all about
Like underwater.
visual storytelling,
Yeah.
and it does an incredible job with that.
And then
actually
Free
has a story.
Churro, which is all
And
some
then
monologue.
Free Churro, which is all dialogue based and no extra visuals.
Yeah. It's
And
amazing.
Free Churro is probably my personal favorite episode. I think it's not the best, but it's my personal favorite. And Fish Out of Water is another amazing episode, also in the top 5. They're both fantastic examples of what makes this show so great and what they were able to do. And they were accomplished so many, just the magnitude of different things because of the visual style and the dialogue.
There's a lot of great YouTubers you can also watch to like go deep onto a lot of singular episodes.
Right. There's amazing like episode deep dives because like there's like at least 20 episodes that once you take a deep dive into it, just shows how incredible it is as a narrative. Which like there's so many episodes like that, and each character you could just do an entire like essay on as to like why they're profoundly important to the story and just important to people who actually live. There's a lot about mental illness, addiction,
The stupid piece of shit episode.
issue. Oh, incredible episode.
Yeah.
I watched a psychiatrist react to that one, and like he was talking about how this is the most accurate like depiction of mental illness that like you can find, one of the most
Yeah.
like in media. And it's just incredible all the way through.
Yeah, for sure. Probably talk about it again at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean maybe we'll do like deep dives or something on episodes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We're always looking for ideas of stuff to talk about. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom.
The thing, though.
no, you want to talk about the thing sometime?
Yeah, sure.
I mean I'm pretty fan.
Here's the
I'm a
thing.
fan.
Which one? There's two.
And that does it. Obviously, John Carpenter's.
No. You do the outro or no?
Anyways, like I said at the beginning, be sure to subscribe if you like our voices. Like the video.
I hate your voice.
Comment your thoughts on BoJack and let us know what you want us to talk about next.
10 million subscribers, CL's fatty.
We're never recording with Justin here again.